European Union will actually think about basically about banning Schengen visas for Russians, which is I have mixed feelings about this. Um, it's interesting to just from the perspective of a person like living in the CIS region, living in Belarus, and kind of reading from time to time like Russian articles, Russian propagandist shit, just to kind of stay in line, basically just to prepare for these streams, for example. And the amount of burned asses, like they're just on flames in Russia, especially in the propagandist or like this patriots, whatever of Russia. They are in flames. They are furious because of this. Because of the well, some of them are furious, and some just say like, "Wow, why do we care? Fuck them, whatever." This is the people who will never ever visit Europe or United States or any of those countries, but those who maybe perhaps were visiting European Union, so on and so forth, maybe visited for whatever vacation, something like that. They're furious and they're like, no, 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 we don't support this. Or even if they support Putin, they're like, no, how can you? How could you? And then this is like a press secretary of Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia, absolutely brain dead, stupid shit cunt. She's like, you can't deny EU visas for the whole nation. This is you can't do this, which is like, well, yes, they can. Like, why can't they? You can't force them to fucking accept you. You can't force them to give you visas. Like, yes, they can. I mean, I have a different opinion than, like, I guess a lot of people because I do think, like, at this particular, on this particular issue, I do think, and I don't like to say it, like, I do kind of think that Russians have a little bit of a point, and I never want to be like sided with Russians, with Russian government, with this propagandist garbage. But in this case, like there are a lot of Russians who do not support this war, who do not support Putin, who do not support just this bloody regime in general, and so on and so forth, right? And a lot of them are just like not everybody has a lot of money to relocate, for example. Not everybody has a job that they can relocate easily with. Not everybody has, for example, language, for example. Like in schools in Russia and Belarus, I'm assuming in Ukraine as well, most of people learn English, and yet we've taught English at such level that you, after school, you will never be able to speak. Like just have a conversation, just do even this, just to speak into the microphone and trying to uh, yeah, just speaking into the microphone and trying to put put your thoughts out there, because it's just taught on a pretty fucking poor level, let's be honest. And so it's really hard to actually relocate from Russia, from Belarus. Ukraine had an agreement, at least with EU, that they could stay in EU for like up to 90 days without even visa, um, which is amazing. Which is why like I thought that always thought like that Ukraine is this one country that actually can break away from this sort of ex-USSR garbage sort of mentality and so on and so forth. Like don't get me wrong, like before war, like they had a lot of problems even back in 2012, whatever. Um, but the mentality was of Ukrainians was different than of Belarusian people and Russian people, and I always knew that it's gonna happen. Um, it's gonna be possible for them, and obviously Butler has seen this exact thing as well, and that's why he started the war because he didn't want Ukraine to be a democratic country. Nonetheless, I don't think that this is okay to actually just ban all the nation from entering the state. It's basically, I do kind of feel like this is, I mean, it's not the same as killing people, but you're denying people the entry. And I mean, they're talking about Schengen visas, right? So it's slightly different because it's just a tourist visas. You still can't stay on those visas and so on and so forth. But deny Schengen visas if they will actually proceed with this. Um, like first you deny Schengen visas, then you deny like visas D or something like that. Like there's those temporary visas or like even permanent visas for like temporary residency or permanent residency, so on and so forth, which is even harder to get than just a Schengen visa. And so you kind of, first of all, you kind of locking down a lot of normal, good people that might want to escape. And I understand that yes, there are other countries as well, but let's be honest, like on this European continent, Europe is the place where people want to go, not I don't know, somewhere in Asia, whatever. And so it's kind of weird because once again, like if somebody wants to leave, like let them leave Russia. Like let them at least have a chance to go visit other countries, go I don't know. I mean, once again, they're talking about Schengen visas, so it's kind of tourist thing. But I'm thinking that they're not gonna issue visas, especially for countries like Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Poland probably as well. I don't think they're gonna issue visas for temporary residency, permanent residency, and yeah, I don't think it's right because it's gonna leaving a lot of people sort of one-on-one with regime. And I doubt that these countries, like Eastern European countries, I doubt they're gonna take a lot of like asylum seekers, for example, of from Belarus, from Russia, because of this kind of general, general like I don't know how to put it even like it's not disdain for Russians, but nobody really wants Russians right now in their countries. At least not, yeah, at least like in Eastern Europe. Um, I don't want to use the term Russophobia because I don't think it is that really, but it's their countries. They can do whatever the fuck they want. But I just feel like this is such a topic that it's a double-edged sword because I've seen Russian people coming into other countries, especially Eastern Europe, and acting as complete fucking twats, as complete fucking cunts. And I feel like this is the way to go. Like if you see people acting like that, nullify their visa, send them fucking out. Or just, if you can't nullify Schengen visa, I'm not sure how it works exactly. Just send them fucking out. They're breaking the law. They're like harassing people on the streets, like that fucking cunt on Twitter right now. I forgot what her name is. I think in Austria or something like that. Going around harassing people, then crying that, oh, my booking account was cancelled. Yeah, fuck you, cunt. Go back to Russia. You are a cunt. You should be in Russia. Yeah, like do it on like a personal basis because as much as like, once again, as much as I don't want to fucking agree with Russian propagandists and fucking brain dead cunts in the government, it does kind of remind this kind of a notion that the Germans were doing, like all Jews are bad people, let's exterminate them. Once again, it's a stretch. They're not talking about extermination. It's just about denying visas. But this is just this concept of treating the whole group as if like all people are the same in that group. And I don't like this because I live in Belarus and like Ukrainians, for example, especially like very um, radical, I guess, like radical, like more lenient right Ukrainians, like on Twitter or whatever, would be blaming, oh yeah, you're a fucking Belarusian, you're a cunt, you caused this war basically. And I'm like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about. You've never lived in Belarus. You don't know how fucking bad it is here. Like you lived in Ukraine, which is a corrupt country, but with military and police who does not like fucking beat up people all day every day without like any repercussions basically. You have never lived in that country. Like don't tell me about my country and like that I haven't done enough during the protests in 2022 and so on and so forth. I've done what I could, and people have been doing what they could back then, and then suddenly it all went to shit because the repressive machine is absolutely atrocious here. And so like when people judge me as a part of the group, as like a Belarusian. I'm like, I don't have anything in common with those Belarusians that you're talking about. And so there are a lot of, I'm assuming, I'm not assuming, I know there are a lot of Russians that feel the same. Like, they're living in Russia, they're already in inner emigration. There's a term for that. That's called inner emigration. The term that specifically talks about this, the concept of an individual or social group who feels a sense of alienation from their country, government, culture. This is exactly me. For like 10 years, I haven't watched like a movie in Russian. I haven't read for like last like 7 years anything like news in Russian, whatever, things like that. I'm not interested in this society in this country because they're rotten. I despise this, and I'm assuming there are a lot of people like that in Russia, in Belarus, and so if you are treating, if European Union will actually do this, just ban entry for all Russians, and I'm assuming Belarusians then will follow as well. Ban for Belarusian, that is, people will follow or might follow as well. I don't think it's right. I just wanted to acknowledge this fact that I disagree with this. I have my own obviously vested interest in this because I don't want to be denied ever entering Europe, which again, like I've went to like Austria many times. I dated a girl there. I been to Italy. I liked fucking Europe, for fuck's sake. And I do really deeply dislike Russia and Belarus. So like punishing people like me, for example, or similar people, I don't think it's right. I don't even if it's just about Schengen stuff. And once again, I don't think there will be granting a lot of asylum seeking statuses to people from these regions left and right. So yeah.